This black man in rags thinks he can afford a car here. Look at him. Gregory Stone, the manager at Prestige Auto Gallery, Atlanta's premier luxury dealership, doesn't whisper it. He announces it to the entire showroom, then laughs, loud, public, laughs at the black man standing 10 feet away. The showroom gleams with marble and glass. Cars cost more than houses. Stone is white, polished, wearing an expensive suit. Matthew Reynolds stands near the Audi section, black, in rags, paint-stained jeans with holes, faded t-shirt, sneakers falling apart. Stone laughs louder. A black man dressed in rags like that, you think you belong here? You're making my real customers uncomfortable. Go back to where you came from. 20 people watch. Nobody intervenes. Matthew walks out. 1 hour later, 60 minutes exactly, Gregory Stone receives his termination letter. What happens next proves justice still exists. Keep watching. Rewind. Before the laugh, before the humiliation, before everything changes. Matthew Reynolds doesn't look like money, and that's intentional. 45 years old, black, Atlanta-born and raised. He graduated from Georgia Tech with a computer science degree when most of his high school friends were still figuring out what college meant. Built a software company called ClearPath Analytics from a one-bedroom apartment in Midtown, working 18-hour days, surviving on instant ramen and determination. Sold that company 4 years ago for $83 million. After taxes, investors, and team bonuses, he walked away with $52 million. He retired at 41, not to golf courses or yachts, to freedom. The freedom to wear what's comfortable. The freedom to help his son move apartments on a Thursday morning without worrying about conference calls or board meetings. Today, he's dressed for moving day, because that's what this morning was. His son, Daniel, 21, graduating from Morehouse College in 6 weeks, needed help packing up his dorm room. The t-shirt Matthew wears is old, Georgia Tech yellow faded to something closer to mustard, with a small tear near the collar from catching on a box corner. The jeans have paint stains from last weekend when they repainted Daniel's new apartment together. The sneakers, New Balance, bought in 2019, worn almost daily, are comfortable but clearly past their prime. Matthew drives a 2015 Ford F-150 truck. Nothing flashy. It hauls furniture when Daniel needs it, handles Atlanta traffic without complaint, and doesn't draw attention. That's how Matthew prefers life now. Quiet, comfortable, free from performance. But he knows something most people don't have to think about. He's always known it. A black man in casual clothes gets read differently than a white man in the same outfit. A black man in ripped jeans walking into a luxury space isn't seen as eccentric or comfortable. He's seen as wrong, out of place, suspicious. Matthew knows this, has lived this his entire life, code switching in investor meetings, dressing up for simple errands to avoid being followed in stores, carrying his college ID well into his 30s because people needed proof he belonged in the buildings where he worked. Today, he's here for one reason. Daniel graduates in 6 weeks. His son has worked hard. Double major, honors, already accepted into graduate school. Matthew wants to give him something meaningful, something reliable, an Audi A6 maybe. Solid engineering, good safety ratings, not too flashy, but nice enough that Daniel will feel proud driving it. Prestige Auto Gallery sits on Peachtree Road in Buckhead, Atlanta's wealthiest neighborhood. Matthew's driven past it hundreds of times. Glass walls that reflect the sky. Italian marble visible even from the street. Inside, luxury vehicles arranged like art pieces in a gallery. Mercedes sedans, BMW SUVs, Porsches that cost as much as small houses. Matthew pulls into the parking lot at 2:14 in the afternoon. Thursday, mid-March. Spring air warm but not hot yet. He parks 3 rows back between a Lexus and a Tesla. He walks toward the entrance. The double doors are glass and chrome, automated, hissing open as he approaches. Cold air rushes out, engineered cold, the kind that costs money to maintain. Piano music drifts from hidden speakers, something classical, something expensive sounding. The showroom floor is vast. 30 vehicles, maybe more, arranged with space between them like they're too important to crowd. Overhead, crystal chandeliers. Underfoot, marble so polished Matthew can see his reflection. 2 couples browse near the SUV section, both white, both dressed business casual. A salesman laughs with them, practiced and professional. Another sales associate taps on an iPad near the BMW display, showing a client in a 3-piece suit various color options on a screen. Matthew walks toward the Audi section. He's relaxed, hands in pockets. He's been in rooms like this before. Tech pitch meetings with venture capitalists, investor conferences where everyone was sizing everyone else up. He knows how to navigate spaces that weren't built for him, but something's different here. Nobody approaches him, not immediately. He stands near a silver Audi A6, examining the clean lines, the way light reflects off the hood. 1 minute passes, then 2, then 5. He's not invisible. He catches eyes. A young saleswoman with blonde hair glances his way. Her mouth opens slightly, like she's about to say hello. Then she looks toward the back office. Her mouth closes. She turns back to her computer. 8 minutes pass. Matthew stands there, patient, waiting for someone to acknowledge him. That's when Gregory Stone notices. Stone is the sales manager. 48 years old, white, wearing a charcoal suit that probably cost $2,000. His shoes are polished to a mirror shine. His watch, a Rolex, catches the light when he moves. He's standing near the finance desk talking to a colleague when he sees Matthew. His eyes scan from head to toe, the worn sneakers, the paint-stained jeans, the faded t-shirt. His expression shifts, not subtle, obvious. He says something to his colleague, too quiet for Matthew to hear, but the colleague glances over, sees Matthew, smirks. Stone walks over. His dress shoes tap, tap, tap across the marble floor, each step deliberate, loud enough to announce his presence. He stops 6 feet away from Matthew, doesn't extend his hand, doesn't smile. "Can I help you with something?" His tone isn't welcoming, it's a challenge. Matthew turns, meets his eyes. "I'm looking at the A6, interested in specs, safety features, warranty options." Stone's eyes flick to the car, then back to Matthew. "That vehicle is $68,000. "I understand. Plus tax and title. Most of our clients finance, and our approval process is thorough." Stone lets the word hang. Thorough. Like Matthew wouldn't pass. Like Matthew couldn't possibly qualify. "I have questions about the vehicle," Matthew says. Calm. Even. "Can someone walk me through the features?" Stone exhales through his nose. Not quite a laugh. Not yet. "Sir, I'm going to be honest with you." He raises his voice, just slightly. Enough that the couple near the BMW display turns to look. Enough that the young saleswoman, Emma Davis, though Matthew doesn't know her name yet, freezes at her desk. "This black man in rags thinks he can afford a car here. Look at him." The showroom shifts. Conversations pause. Heads turn. The classical music keeps playing, but everything else stops. Stone isn't done. He laughs. Not a chuckle. A full theatrical laugh. Head tilted back slightly. Performing. "You see," he says, addressing the room now. "This is what I deal with. People walking in off the street wasting our time." Matthew doesn't flinch. His jaw tightens, but his face stays neutral. He's been here before. Different rooms, different faces, same feeling. "I'm a serious buyer," Matthew says quietly. "I'd like to speak with someone about the A6. Stone steps closer, close enough that Matthew can smell his cologne, something expensive and overwhelming. "A black man dressed in rags like that? You think you belong here?" Stone's voice is louder now, making absolutely sure everyone hears. "You're making my real customers uncomfortable. Go back to where you came from." The room holds its breath. 20 people, sales associates in their business attire, customers in designer clothes, a receptionist at the front desk, all watching, all silent. Matthew looks around, makes eye contact with the young saleswoman. She looks away. He looks at the couple near the BMW. They turn back to their conversation. Nobody moves. Nobody speaks. Stone crosses his arms. "I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Matthew nods once, slowly. He doesn't argue, doesn't raise his voice, doesn't give Stone the satisfaction of a scene. He turns and walks toward the exit. His worn sneakers make almost no sound on the marble floor. Behind him, he hears Stone say something to a colleague, loud enough to carry. "You know the drill. We serve who we serve." The automatic doors hiss open. Matthew steps out into the parking lot. The sun is bright, the air is warm, traffic hums on Peachtree Road. He walks to his truck, opens the door, sits in the driver's seat. Doesn't start the engine, not yet. His hands are steady, but his chest feels tight. Not anger, not yet, something else. Something he's carried his entire life but never quite gets used to. The weight of being seen as less, of being dismissed before he even speaks, of standing in a room full of people and being treated like he doesn't exist. 8 minutes, that's all he wanted. 8 minutes of someone's time to ask about a car for his son. He sits there for a moment, processing. Then he takes out his phone, opens Twitter, and starts typing. Matthew's fingers move across his phone screen. He's not angry typing. He's not emotional. He's factual, precise. The way he used to write code, clean, logical, impossible to misinterpret. He types, "Went to Prestige Auto Gallery on Peachtree Road to buy my son a graduation gift. Sales manager called me this black man in rags, laughed at me in front of 20 people, told me I make customers uncomfortable, told me to go back to where I came from. This is Atlanta. This is Buckhead. This is 2024. He attaches his location, tags the dealership, adds hashtags, #Atlanta business, #Buckhead, #discrimination. He reads it once, twice, then presses tweet. The timestamp reads 1436. Matthew Reynolds isn't famous. He's not a celebrity, but he's known in Atlanta tech circles. His Twitter account is verified, a blue checkmark from back when he was CEO of ClearPath Analytics. He has 38,000 followers, people who remember when he sold his company, people who read his occasional threads about building wealth as a black founder, about navigating predominantly white corporate spaces, about the invisible taxes of being black in America. His tweet posts. At first, nothing happens. 3 likes in the first minute, then a retweet, then another. At 14:42, 6 minutes after posting, a tech influencer with 200,000 followers sees it. Quote tweets it. This is exactly the kind of BS we talk about when we say systemic racism isn't abstract. It's this. It's being humiliated for wanting to buy a car. Read this whole thread. The engagement explodes. 1445, 1,200 retweets. 1448. Local Atlanta accounts start picking it up. Small business owners, community organizers, people sharing their own stories in the replies. 1452. Sarah Mitchell, investigative journalist at the Atlanta Tribune, sees it in her feed. She screenshots it, starts drafting questions. 1458. The official Twitter account for 11 Alive News, Atlanta's major news station, tweets, "Breaking viral post alleges discrimination at Buckhead luxury car dealership. We're looking into this story. More to come." Matthew's phone starts buzzing, constantly. Text messages from friends. "Bro, you're trending. Are you okay? This is insane." Unknown numbers calling. He doesn't answer. He's watching the replies. Some are supportive. "This happened to my brother at a Lexus dealership 3 years ago. Thank you for speaking up. I'm so sorry, you deserved better. Everyone needs to stop shopping at Prestige. Period." Some are skeptical. Where's the proof? Anyone can make accusations. Maybe there's more to the story. Some are hostile. Maybe dress appropriately if you want to be taken seriously. Playing the race card for attention. Rich people problems. But the majority? The majority are angry. On his behalf. Angry at the dealership. Angry at Stone. Angry at a system that allows this to keep happening. By 1500 hours, 2:42 p.m., Matthew's tweet has 52,000 engagements across platforms. It's been shared to Facebook community groups, Instagram stories, Reddit's Atlanta subreddit where people are posting their own experiences at Prestige Auto Gallery. Someone digs up a Better Business Bureau complaint from 2 years ago. A black customer alleging she was followed around the showroom. Prestige's response, "We serve all customers equally." Someone else finds a 1-star Google review from 18 months ago. Latino customer. Waited 45 minutes to be helped. Watch 3 white customers get immediate service. The pattern is forming. Public, undeniable. Inside Prestige Auto Gallery, nobody knows yet. Stone is at his desk. Paperwork. Commission calculations for the month. Emma Davis is at the finance desk, still shaken from what she witnessed, but silent. What would she say? To whom? Then at 15:02, the phone in the showroom rings. The receptionist answers. "Prestige Auto Gallery, how may I?" "This is Karen Williams from Regional Operations. I need to speak with Gregory Stone, now." The receptionist transfers the call. Stone picks up. "This is Gregory Stone." "Mr. Stone, I need you to go to Twitter right now and search Prestige Auto Atlanta." "I'm sorry, what?" "Do it. Now." Stone opens his phone, types, searches, sees Matthew's tweet, sees the engagement numbers, sees the comments, sees 11 Alive News reporting on it. His face goes pale. "Sir, I can explain." Don't talk. Don't say another word. Regional VP is calling you in 8 minutes. Stay by your phone. The line goes dead. Stone sits there, staring at his screen, at the comments pouring in, at people tagging Prestige Auto Gallery's corporate account, demanding response, at news outlets asking for comment. At 15:08, his phone rings again. Different number. Mr. Stone, this is Richard Anderson, VP of Operations for Prestige Auto Group. I'm going to ask you one question, and I need a yes or no answer. Did you call a customer, this black man in rags, laugh at him, and tell him to go back to where he came from? Stone hesitates. Sir, the context, yes or no? Silence. I see. Anderson's voice is ice. Check your email in 15 minutes. The call ends. Stone sits at his desk. The showroom around him continues as normal. Customers browsing, sales associates chatting, classical music playing. He opens his email, refreshes. At 15:24, 14:18 p.m., exactly 1 hour and 60 minutes after he laughed at Matthew Reynolds, an email arrives. Subject, termination of employment, effective immediately. He opens it. Dear Mr. Stone, effective immediately, your employment with Prestige Auto Gallery is terminated. This decision is final and not subject to appeal. You violated company values and customer service standards. Your final paycheck will be mailed within 7 business days. Please surrender your building access card to your supervisor. Do not return to the premises. No phone call, no meeting, no chance to defend himself. Just pixels on a screen. 60 minutes. That's how long his career lasted after he humiliated a customer. By 18 o'clock, Prestige Auto Group releases a public statement. We do not tolerate discrimination of any kind. The employee responsible has been terminated effective immediately. We apologize to Mr. Reynolds and reaffirm our commitment to serving all customers with dignity and respect. The statement trends alongside Matthew's original tweet. But the story doesn't end there. Because at 20:30 that evening, Matthew's phone rings. A number he doesn't recognize. He almost doesn't answer. But something makes him pick up. Mr. Reynolds? This is Sarah Mitchell. I'm an investigative reporter with the Atlanta Tribune. I saw what happened to you today. I'm so sorry, but I have to ask, do you think this was an isolated incident, or do you think there's something bigger here? Matthew sits in his living room. His son Daniel is upstairs. The house is quiet except for his phone, which hasn't stopped buzzing since this afternoon. He thinks about Emma's face when she didn't approach him, about the couple who turned away, about Stone's words, "You know the drill." I think, Matthew says slowly, I'm one person who happened to be visible enough that people listened. But how many others weren't? How many others experienced the same thing and stayed silent because they thought no one would believe them? Sarah Mitchell writes that down. Would you be willing to talk more, on the record? Matthew looks at the termination announcement Prestige posted. Stone fired. Quick, decisive, justice, right? But something doesn't sit right. Yes, he says, but I want to know if this is a pattern. I want to know if Stone was a problem or if the problem is bigger than one person. That's exactly what I want to find out, Sarah says. Let me dig. I'll call you in 2 days. Matthew hangs up, stares at his phone, at the thousands of comments, at the news coverage, at the corporate statement. Stone is gone, fired within an hour. Swift justice. But Matthew keeps thinking about those 8 minutes in the showroom, about 20 people watching, about nobody saying anything, and he wonders, is firing one person enough? The internet works fast. By Friday morning, less than 24 hours after Matthew's tweet, someone finds his LinkedIn profile. Stanford computer science degree, founder and former CEO of ClearPath Analytics, Forbes 40 under 40 from 5 years ago. Someone else finds the business acquisition announcement from 4 years ago. TechCrunch covered it. Atlanta-based ClearPath Analytics acquired by enterprise software giant for $83 million. Basic math. Even after taxes and distribution, Matthew Reynolds walked away with tens of millions. The narrative shifts, fast. Twitter thread from @AtlantaBizWatch. Wait, the man Prestige Auto humiliated is Matthew Reynolds. Sold his company for $83 million. Net worth estimated $52 million. Stone laughed at a man who could buy the entire dealership with cash. Quote, tweet with 50,000 likes. The irony. Stone judged him based on his clothes, and this man is richer than Stone will ever be in 10 lifetimes. News outlets update their coverage. 11 Alive's follow-up story leads with sales manager who mocked customer didn't know he was multimillionaire tech entrepreneur. Atlanta Tribune publishes a profile. Matthew Reynolds, the man behind the viral tweet. And just like that, the story changes. It's no longer just about discrimination. It's about the ultimate reversal. The underdog who wasn't an underdog. The man in rags who could afford anything in that showroom. Social media erupts. This is the best karma story I've ever seen. Stone got exactly what he deserved. Imagine being that wrong about someone. But there's another reaction too. A colder one. So it only matters because he's rich? What about all the black people who get treated like this and aren't millionaires? Are we only mad because the rich guy got disrespected? This feels like rich people co-opting real struggles. Matthew sees these comments. They sting more than the hostile ones, because they're not wrong. A journalist from the Washington Post calls. Mr. Reynolds, how does it feel to have your wealth become the center of this story? Matthew sits in his home office, the room where he used to build code, create products, solve problems. Now it's filled with media requests and messages from strangers. It shouldn't matter what I'm worth, he tells the journalist. What happened to me happens to people every day. People who don't have platforms. People who don't have money to fight back. The only difference is I had 38,000 Twitter followers and enough credibility that people listened. The quote gets published. Some people appreciate it. Others remain skeptical. A Twitter thread goes viral. Matthew Reynolds is worth $52 million, and he's getting treated like a civil rights hero for getting kicked out of a car dealership. Meanwhile, actual working-class black people deal with worse every day and nobody cares. This is performative. 4,000 retweets. Matthew's phone rings, his ex-wife. Daniel called me. He's upset. People at school are talking. Some are supportive. Some are saying you're doing this for attention. Are you okay? I don't know, Matthew admits. I just wanted to buy a car. Now I'm a symbol for something I didn't ask to represent. Do you want to stop? Let this go? Matthew thinks about that. He could. Prestige fired Stone. Corporate apologized. He could delete the tweet, decline the interviews, move on with his life. But he keeps thinking about Emma, about her mouth opening and closing, about the way she looked away. He keeps thinking about Stone's words. You know the drill. What drill? How many people knew the drill? No, Matthew says. I don't think I can stop. Not yet. That night at 20:30, Sarah Mitchell calls as promised. Mr. Reynolds, I've been digging. I found something. 3 former employees willing to talk off the record. They say what happened to you wasn't an accident. They say it's policy. Unwritten, but policy. Matthew sits up straighter. What kind of policy? They call it customer profiling. Appearance-based service triage. I have emails. I have training materials. I have complaints that were filed and dismissed. Mr. Reynolds, I don't think Stone was a bad apple. I think he was following orders. Matthew's chest tightens. How many people? That's what I'm trying to find out, but I need help. I need someone willing to go on record, someone with credibility, someone people will listen to. What do you need from me? Keep talking. Keep the story alive. And trust me to find the truth. Matthew looks at his phone, at the mixed reactions, at the people calling him a hero and the people calling him performative. Okay, he says. Let's find out how deep this goes. Sarah Mitchell has been an investigative journalist for 12 years. She's exposed predatory lending practices, corrupt city officials, corporate fraud. She knows how to dig. She knows how to find the story beneath the story. She starts with the former employees. Emma Davis is the first to come forward. 26 years old, worked at Prestige Auto Gallery for 3 years. She's the saleswoman who watched Matthew get humiliated and did nothing. They meet at a coffee shop in Decatur, far from Buckhead. Emma looks tired, guilty. I should have said something, she tells Sarah. Her voice shakes. I should have walked over to him, offered to help, but I knew what would happen if I did. What would happen? Stone would pull me aside later. Write me up for not following customer engagement protocols. That's what happened to the last person who tried to help someone Stone decided wasn't worth our time. Sarah writes this down. Tell me about these protocols. Emma pulls out her phone, opens her email. I kept everything. I knew someday it would matter. She forwards 62 emails to Sarah, 2 years of correspondence. Training materials, internal memos. Sarah reads through them that night. Her stomach turns. Subject, Q2, customer engagement goals. Team, focus on high-probability conversions. Time is limited. Use judgment when prioritizing floor engagement. Appearance indicators to consider: luxury watch, designer handbag, luxury vehicle arrival, business attire. These customers are pre-qualified and ready to buy. Reply from Stone. Understood. Will coach team on prioritization standards. Another email. Subject, floor management best practices. Remember the 10-80-10 rule. Top 10% of customers generate 80% of revenue. Focus energy on the top 10%. The bottom 10%. Browsers, tire kickers, people who just looking, politely acknowledge but don't invest significant time. Reply from sales director. Exactly. Qualify first, engage second. The language is coded. Careful. But the intent is clear. Sarah reaches out to two more former employees. Kevin Anderson worked in finance for 18 months. White, 29 years old, left 6 months ago. They never said don't help black customers, he tells Sarah over Zoom. They never had to. They said read the room, use your judgment, focus on serious buyers. Everyone knew what that meant. Did anyone question it? Once, a newer guy, Hispanic kid, first sales job, he spent 40 minutes with this older black woman, helped her test drive a Lexus, explained financing options. Stone pulled him aside after. I heard it from the break room. You wasted 40 minutes on someone who was never going to buy. That's 40 minutes you could have spent with real customers. The kid quit 2 weeks later. Sarah gets access to HR records through a confidential source. 18 formal complaints filed between January 2023 and Matthew's incident. All from customers of color. Customer complaint #4, filed June 2023. I waited 38 minutes for assistance. Watched 3 white customers receive immediate help. When I finally got attention, the salesperson was dismissive and condescending. I have a 780 credit score and paid cash for my vehicle at another dealership. Prestige's response: unable to verify customers' claims. No evidence of discrimination. Customer may have misinterpreted normal business operations. Customer complaint #9, filed October 2023. Sales manager followed me around the showroom like I was going to steal something. I'm a software engineer. I make 6 figures. I was treated like a criminal. Prestige's response: staff followed standard security protocols. No disciplinary action warranted. 18 complaints, 18 dismissals, same language in every response. No evidence, misinterpretation, normal operations. Sarah contacts Matthew. I need to show you something. They meet at his house. She brings her laptop, opens a spreadsheet. This is CRM data from Prestige Auto Gallery. I obtained it through a source I can't name. Customer interactions from October 2023 through March 2024, 2,318 entries. Matthew leans in, studies the columns. Sarah points. This column is customer ethnicity, self-reported on inquiry forms. This column is time from initial inquiry to test drive approval. Watch. She filters the data. White customers, average 31 hours from inquiry to test drive. Black customers, average 196 hours, 8 times longer. I controlled for everything, Sarah says. Vehicle price range, day of week, time of day, salesperson experience level. The disparity remains statistically significant. Race is the predictor. Matthew stares at the numbers. This isn't Stone. This is the system. That's exactly right. Sarah opens another folder. I found an internal audit from October last year. It's marked confidential, but someone leaked it to me. The document is 34 pages. Corporate Compliance Officer Janet Hughes conducted it. Page 12, section titled Guest Engagement Equity Analysis. Findings: statistically significant disparities in service delivery correlated with customer demographic presentation. Black customers experience longer wait times, fewer test drive approvals, and higher rates of financing denials despite comparable credit profiles. Page 19, recommendations. 1. Immediately discontinue appearance-based service triage. 2. Implement mandatory unconscious bias training for all customer-facing staff. 3. Revise sales coaching materials to remove coded language. 4. Establish third-party oversight for customer complaint resolution. Matthew reads it twice. They knew. 6 months before I walked in, they knew. That's not even the worst part. Sarah scrolls to the email metadata. This audit was sent to 7 executives on October 18th. Want to see the responses? She opens the email thread. From Richard Anderson, VP Operations, date October 20th, 2023, subject REQ3 compliance audit findings. Noted, we'll discuss at Q4 strategic review. This is a sensitive topic. Recommend tabling pending legal consultation. From CFO Thomas Wilson. Date October 20th, 2023. What's the financial impact of implementing these recommendations? Training costs money. Service gaps haven't hurt sales numbers yet. From CEO, CC'd, no response. Silence. Matthew's hands curl into fists. They calculated the cost of discrimination and decided it was worth it. That's exactly what they did. Sarah closes her laptop. I'm publishing this story. I have the emails, the data, the audit, the HR complaints. This is systemic discrimination, documented, ignored by leadership. But I need more. I need victims willing to go on record. How do we find them? You're going to help me. You're visible now. People trust you. We put out a call, see who responds. Matthew thinks about his son, about the backlash, about the comments calling him performative. Then he thinks about that spreadsheet. 196 hours versus 31 hours, 8 times longer, for the same service, because of skin color. Let's do it. You might be thinking this is just one dealership, one bad manager, one unfortunate incident. But what you're about to hear next shows this goes deeper than anyone imagined. If you've experienced something similar, if you've been profiled, dismissed, made to wait while others got served, drop a comment. You're not alone, and your story matters. Sarah publishes her first article on April 23rd, 2,200 words, charts showing the CRM data disparities. Excerpts from the internal emails. Photos of the audit report with sensitive information redacted. Headline, The System Behind the Showroom, How Prestige Auto Gallery Allegedly Practiced Racial Profiling as Policy. Within 6 hours, 68,000 views. Within 12 hours, 11 people contact Sarah's confidential tip line, all former customers, all with similar stories. Angela Wilson, 42, middle school teacher. I tried to buy a BMW X5 2 years ago. Denied a test drive. No explanation. I paid cash for the same model at a different dealership 3 days later. Stephen Taylor, 31, small business owner, Latino. They kept asking if I was sure I could afford the vehicle, 3 times. Like they were trying to embarrass me into leaving. Brian Johnson, 38, accountant, black. They ran my credit 4 times, 4 times for one car. Each time they came back with a higher interest rate. I walked out, got financing at my bank at half the rate they quoted. The stories pour in, different faces, different backgrounds, same pattern. By April 26th, Sarah has documented 23 separate incidents spanning 3 years. Not just at the main Buckhead location. Prestige Auto South, Prestige Auto Gwinnett, all over Atlanta. This isn't one store. This isn't one manager. This is company-wide. Matthew appears on 11 Alive News. Live interview. The anchor asks, Mr. Reynolds, some critics say you're using your wealth and platform to amplify a problem that working-class people face every day. What do you say to that? Matthew looks directly at the camera. They're right. I am using my platform because I have one. That's the only difference between me and the other 23 people Sarah Mitchell interviewed. I got lucky. My tweet went viral. But their experiences are just as real, just as painful, just as unacceptable. I'm not the hero of this story, they are. I'm just trying to make sure people listen. The clip goes viral. 1 million views in 2 days. And that's when Prestige Auto Group's legal team gets involved. The letter arrives via certified mail on April 28th. Thick envelope. Law firm letterhead. Sullivan & Cross, LLP. Matthew signs for it, opens it at his kitchen table. Cease and desist. Demand for retraction and damages. Dear Mr. Reynolds, you have made false and defamatory statements about Prestige Auto Group and its employees. These statements have caused irreparable harm to our client's reputation and business operations. We demand immediate cessation of all statements, retraction of previous claims, and compensation for damages in excess of $5 million. Failure to comply within 14 days will result in litigation. The letter goes on for 6 pages. Legal language, threats, demands. Matthew calls Sarah. They're threatening to sue me. I got the same letter, she says. So did the Tribune, don't worry. This is standard intimidation. They're trying to scare us into silence. Is it working? Not even a little. My editor already sent it to our legal team. They laughed. Truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Everything we published is documented. They have nothing. But the intimidation doesn't stop with letters. Emma Davis, the young saleswoman who provided the internal emails, receives a call from Prestige's HR department. Miss Davis, we're investigating the unauthorized disclosure of confidential company documents. Did you provide internal emails to the media? Emma's hands shake as she holds the phone. I can't answer that without legal counsel. We're offering you an opportunity to come forward voluntarily. If you cooperate, we can discuss immunity from prosecution for theft of proprietary information. If you don't cooperate, we will pursue all available legal remedies. She hangs up, calls Sarah, crying. They're going to fire me, or worse, they're talking about prosecution. Sarah connects her with a labor attorney, pro bono. The attorney reviews the emails. These documents show illegal discrimination. You're protected under whistleblower statutes. They can't touch you. But Prestige finds another way. May 1st, Emma's schedule changes. She's moved from day shift to overnight. Her hours cut from 40 per week to 22. Her assigned sales territory, the luxury SUV section where commissions are highest, given to another associate. The message is clear. Make life difficult enough that she quits. She lasts 2 weeks. Submits her resignation on May 14th. One sentence. I cannot work for a company that punishes honesty. Prestige's PR offensive escalates. They hire a crisis management firm, start flooding social media with counter-narratives. Press release. Gregory Stone was a rogue employee who violated company policy. He was terminated immediately. Prestige Auto Group has served the Atlanta community for 38 years with integrity and respect for all customers. They commission an independent diversity audit conducted by a firm that does regular business with Prestige. Results released to media, no evidence of systemic discrimination found. They deploy testimonials from satisfied customers of color, real people, real purchases. I bought my Mercedes here 3 years ago. Great experience. This controversy doesn't reflect my interaction. The strategy works on some people. Twitter debates rage. Maybe it really was just Stone, one bad employee. They fired him and apologized. What more do people want? This feels like a witch hunt now. Matthew faces the backlash directly. A think piece in a conservative outlet. Rich tech entrepreneur plays victim, costs working class employee his job. Comments on his social media. You destroyed a man's livelihood. Hope you feel good about yourself. You could have just complained to corporate quietly. Instead, you made it a circus. Gregory Stone has a family, kids. They're suffering because of you. Matthew reads these, late at night, alone in his home office. His son calls. Dad, people at school are talking. Some of them think you went too far. They're saying Stone didn't deserve to lose everything. Do you think I went too far? Daniel is quiet for a moment. No, but I hate watching people attack you. I hate that my graduation is in 2 weeks, and instead of celebrating, you're dealing with lawsuits and death threats. Death threats? You didn't see the messages? Matthew checks his Instagram. Sure enough, messages from anonymous accounts. Watch your back. Rich slur needs to learn his place. You think you're safe because you have money? Money doesn't stop bullets. He screenshots them, reports them to the platform, contacts Atlanta police. They take a report, say they'll investigate. He doesn't feel safer. Corporate's public response, included for balance. Prestige Auto Group spokesperson on WSB TV. Mr. Reynolds experienced unacceptable treatment from a former employee who was immediately terminated. However, the subsequent media coverage has mischaracterized our company as systemically discriminatory, which is categorically false. We employ diverse staff, serve diverse customers, and operate with the highest ethical standards. The leaked documents referenced by the Tribune are either fabricated or taken out of context. We will vigorously defend our reputation. The spokesperson doesn't mention the internal audit, doesn't address the CRM data, doesn't explain the 18 dismissed complaints. Just denial, just defense. On May 3rd, Matthew's ex-wife texts. Daniel asked if this is worth it. I didn't have an answer. Do you? Matthew stares at the text for a long time. Is it worth it? Stone lost his job. Emma lost hers. Matthew's facing lawsuits and death threats. His son's graduation is overshadowed by controversy. And Prestige Auto Group? Still operating, still selling cars, still profiting. He thinks about typing. Maybe not. But then he remembers standing in that showroom. 8 minutes. 20 witnesses. Nobody moved. He types back, I don't know, but I can't stop now. There's a moment, May 6th, 2:34 in the morning, when Matthew almost quits. He's scrolling Twitter, sees a quote tweet of Sarah's latest article. Imagine being so rich you cosplay poverty to ruin someone's life. This is performative wokeness at its worst. 4,000 likes. The replies, exactly. Real working-class black people deal with worse every day and nobody cares. He's using his privilege to play victim. It's disgusting. Gregory Stone had kids, lost his job, can't find work now, all because a millionaire got his feelings hurt. Matthew's chest tightens. He keeps scrolling, can't stop himself. Another thread. Matthew Reynolds is the worst kind of activist. Rich, privileged, disconnected from real struggle. He's making it about himself when actual systemic change requires actual sacrifice. 5,000 retweets. His phone buzzes, voicemail from unknown number. He shouldn't listen. He knows he shouldn't. He listens. Heavy breathing. Then one word. Snitch. He deletes it. Blocks the number. Another voicemail. Different number. This one's worse. A white voice, southern accent, saying things Matthew won't repeat. Threats, slurs, violence described in detail. He reports it, blocks it, keeps scrolling. An email from his financial advisor. Matthew, several business associates have reached out asking about your situation. Some are concerned about reputational risk. We should discuss potential impacts on your investment portfolio. Translation: people don't want to be associated with controversy. He thinks about Daniel. Graduation in 10 days. His son should be excited. Instead, he's fielding questions from classmates, defending his father, dealing with judgment by proxy. Matthew's hands aren't shaking. He's not crying. He's just tired. Tired of being strong. Tired of being measured. Tired of having to prove that his pain was real, that his humiliation mattered, that what happened to him was wrong even though he's wealthy. He opens a blank email, types Sarah's address, starts writing, Sarah, I think I'm done. Stone lost his job. That was the goal, right? Justice. He faced consequences. But this has spiraled into something I never wanted. People are suffering. Emma lost her job. Stone's family is struggling. My son is being harassed. I'm getting death threats. And for what? To prove that a luxury car dealership has racist practices? Everyone already knows that. Everyone has always known that. I don't think I'm changing anything. I think I'm just making noise. His thumb hovers over send. He closes his eyes. Thinks about that showroom. Stone's laugh. 20 people watching, nobody moving. You know the drill. We serve who we serve. What drill? How many people knew the drill? How many followed it? How many customers were turned away, humiliated, dismissed? How many of them stayed silent because they thought it wouldn't matter? He deletes the draft, opens his email inbox instead, scrolls past the legal threats and hate mail, finds one from 3 days ago. Subject line, thank you. The sender, AW Anonymous Gmail account. Mr. Reynolds, I'm a 52-year-old black woman. 3 years ago, I walked into Prestige Auto Gallery to buy a car for my daughter's college graduation. I had saved for 2 years. I was so proud. The sales manager, I don't know if it was the same man from your story, made me wait 90 minutes, then told me financing wouldn't work for someone in my situation. I didn't argue. I was embarrassed. I left, went to Honda down the road, paid cash. Never told anyone what happened because I thought it was my fault somehow, like I hadn't dressed right, like I hadn't proven I belonged. But it wasn't my fault, it was theirs, and you're showing people that. You're making it impossible to ignore. Thank you for not being silent. Thank you for not being embarrassed. AW. Matthew reads it twice, then opens his email again. 7 more like it arrived overnight. Different names, same story. Prestige Auto Gallery, Prestige Auto South, Prestige Auto Gwinnett. Different years, same humiliation. He saves each one, creates a folder, why this matters, then calls Sarah. Keep digging, he says, please. Matthew could have walked away, taken the settlement offer that came next, signed an NDA, protected his peace. But sometimes silence costs more than speaking up. If you're still here, if you need to see how this ends, stay with me. The turn is coming. By May 10th, Matthew isn't alone anymore. AW isn't the only one who emailed. 7 others, then 12, then 23. Sarah compiles them, verifies identities, checks dates and locations. 11 stories hold up completely, detailed, consistent, corroborated. They're not all black. Stephen Taylor is Latino. 2 victims are Asian American. One is a Middle Eastern man who was literally asked, "Are you sure you're allowed to buy cars in this country?" The pattern is clear. If you don't look like you belong in a luxury space, Prestige treats you like you don't. Sarah publishes a follow-up. 23 Voices, the hidden pattern behind Prestige Auto's discrimination. The article goes viral again, but this time something different happens. James Harrison reads it. He's 52, a civil rights attorney based in Atlanta. Won major discrimination cases against employers, landlords, institutions. His specialty is taking on systems, not just individuals. He emails Matthew directly. "Mr. Reynolds, I've represented plaintiffs in discrimination cases for 26 years. What happened to you isn't isolated. It's documented systemic behavior. I'd like to represent you and anyone else willing to join a class action lawsuit. No fee unless we win." Matthew forwards the email to Sarah. "Is this real?" She checks. Calls Harrison's office. Verifies his credentials. He's legitimate, one of the best in the Southeast. They set up a call. Harrison's voice is calm but firm. "Here's what I propose. A class action civil suit under Title II of the Civil Rights Act. Discrimination in public accommodation. We have documented evidence, emails, data, audit reports, witness testimony. We have multiple plaintiffs with similar experiences across multiple locations. And we have corporate knowledge. They knew about the problem and chose not to fix it. What are we asking for? Compensatory damages for the plaintiffs. Injunctive relief requiring Prestige to change their policies. Independent oversight. And most importantly, precedent. We make it clear that appearance-based profiling, coded language, and systemic discrimination in customer service are illegal, provable, punishable." Matthew thinks about the legal threats, the death threats, the exhaustion, then thinks about those 11 people, 11 stories, 11 moments of humiliation that nobody witnessed, nobody documented, nobody avenged. "I'm in. What do we need to do?" Harrison starts vetting plaintiffs, calls each one, explains what participation means, depositions, discovery, public testimony. Some drop out, too painful, too public, but 11 remain. Angela Wilson, the teacher who was denied a test drive. Stephen Taylor, the small business owner who was asked 3 times if he could afford the vehicle. Brian Johnson, the accountant whose credit was run 4 times. They meet on May 20th. Zoom first, 12 faces on a screen. Different ages, backgrounds, professions. One shared experience. Angela unmutes. "I thought I was crazy. I thought it was just me." "Me too," Stephen says. "I convinced myself I was being sensitive. I told myself to just move on." Brian adds that it wasn't worth the fight. Matthew speaks last. "It is worth it, because what they did to us, they're still doing to other people right now, today, and they'll keep doing it until someone makes them stop." Harrison sends the filing to Fulton County Superior Court on May 22nd. Case number 2024-CV03891. 12 plaintiffs versus Prestige Auto Group and Richard Anderson, VP Operations individually. Cause of action, systemic racial discrimination in violation of federal civil rights law. Prestige's lawyers file a motion to dismiss within 5 days. Plaintiffs lack standing, no provable harm. Frivolous lawsuit intended to extort settlement. The motion is denied. Judge Patricia Miller, 61, no nonsense, 20 years on the bench, sets a preliminary hearing for May 28th. That's when everything changes. May 19th, 4:53 p.m. Sarah Mitchell's inbox receives an email. No subject line. Sender, anonymous Gmail account. Just a PDF attachment. She opens it. 34 pages, stamped, confidential, internal use only. It's the full internal audit. The one she only had excerpts of before. Complete. Unredacted. She reads through it. Page 12, page 19, then page 28. Section, Executive Response and Implementation Plan. Following the audit presentation on October 18, 2023, senior leadership convened to discuss recommendations. Minutes from this meeting are attached. She clicks the attachment within the attachment. Meeting minutes, October 25, 2023. Attendees: Richard Anderson, VP Operations, Thomas Wilson, CFO, 3 regional directors. Topic Q3, Compliance Audit, Discrimination Risk Assessment. Discussion points. Anderson: the audit raises valid concerns, but implementation costs are significant. We're looking at mandatory training, $340K annually. Revised hiring for dedicated diversity officer, $180K salary plus benefits. Third-party complaint oversight, $520K contractor fees. Total, over $1 million annually. Wilson: what's our legal exposure if we don't implement? Regional Director Jameson: difficult to quantify. We've settled 2 complaints in past 3 years. Total payout, $85K, both with NDAs, no admission of wrongdoing. Anderson: so we're spending $85K to make problems go away versus $1M plus to prevent them. The math is clear. Wilson: what about reputational risk? Anderson: manageable if we maintain swift termination protocol for any public incidents. We control the narrative by removing bad actors quickly. Action items: 1. Table formal implementation of audit recommendations pending further legal review, Q2 2024. 2. Maintain current customer service standards, no changes. 3. Enhance social media monitoring to catch public complaints early. 4. Prepare crisis response templates for rapid termination scenarios. Sarah reads it 3 times. They knew, they calculated, they chose profit over people. She calls Matthew immediately. I have it. The smoking gun. What is it? Meeting minutes from October. Senior leadership discussing the audit. They literally did a cost-benefit analysis of discrimination. Decided it was cheaper to settle complaints quietly than fix the system. Matthew's silent for a moment. Send it to me. She does. He reads it, feels his chest tighten. They valued their bottom line over our dignity. That's exactly what they did, and now we can prove it. Sarah publishes the leak that night. 11 p.m. Headline: leaked documents show Prestige auto executives chose profit over civil rights compliance. The article includes the meeting minutes, the cost-benefit analysis, the explicit decision to maintain discriminatory practices. Twitter explodes. Within 3 hours, #TheyKnew is trending nationally. Prestige Auto Group stock, their privately held but parent company is public, dropped 6.8% in after-hours trading. By morning, Georgia State Attorney General's office announces a preliminary inquiry into potential civil rights violations. Atlanta NAACP releases a statement. This is not about one manager. This is about corporate malfeasance and the commodification of discrimination. Harrison calls Matthew at 7 a.m. This changes everything. We're no longer arguing pattern and practice. We're arguing willful, knowing violation. Corporate executives made a calculated decision to continue discriminatory practices. That's punitive damages territory. What does that mean? It means we're not just asking them to change, we're asking them to pay. Significantly. Prestige's legal team scrambles. They issue an emergency statement. We cannot verify the authenticity of alleged leaked documents. If genuine, the matters discussed were preliminary and do not reflect final company policy, but the damage is done. 2 board members resign within 48 hours. Major investors demand emergency meetings. 3 luxury car manufacturers, the brands Prestige sells, issue statements reviewing their dealer partnerships. The pressure is enormous. On May 23rd, 5 days after the leak, Prestige's lawyers request an emergency meeting with Harrison. Subject: settlement discussion. The hearing room at Fulton County Superior Court is small. 23 seats for public gallery. All full. Local news cameras line the back wall. May 28th, 10 a.m. Judge Patricia Miller enters. Everyone stands. She's wearing black robes, reading glasses perched on her nose, carrying a thick folder. Be seated. She looks at both tables. Harrison and 12 plaintiffs on the left. Prestige's legal team, 6 lawyers in expensive suits, on the right. Let's not waste time. I've read both filings. I've reviewed the evidence submitted. This is a preliminary hearing to determine if plaintiffs have sufficient standing to proceed to discovery. Defense, you have 15 minutes. Prestige's lead counsel stands. Carlton Price, silver hair, confident posture. Your Honor, this case is built on anecdote and misinterpretation. Individual customer service experiences, however unfortunate, do not constitute systemic discrimination. My client terminated the employee responsible for Mr. Reynolds' experience immediately. They've implemented additional training. They've demonstrated good faith. Judge Miller interrupts. Counsel, I've read the leaked internal audit. I've read the meeting minutes. Are you arguing those documents are fabricated? Your Honor, we cannot verify. That's not what I asked. Are they fabricated? Price hesitates. We believe they may have been taken out of context. Context. Judge Miller removes her glasses. Let me read you something. We're spending $85,000 to make problems go away versus $1 million plus to prevent them. The math is clear. That's a direct quote from your client's VP of Operations. What context makes that acceptable? Your Honor, business considerations. Business considerations don't override civil rights law, Counselor. She turns to Harrison. Plaintiff's counsel, what are you asking for? Harrison stands. Your Honor, we're asking this court to recognize what the evidence clearly shows. Prestige Auto Group engaged in systemic, knowing, willful discrimination against customers based on race and appearance. They documented it. They audited it. They were warned about it. And they chose profit over compliance. And your request? Full discovery, all internal communications related to customer service policies, all training materials, all HR complaints, all settlement agreements with NDAs. We want to see how deep this goes. Judge Miller looks at the defense table. And you oppose discovery? Your Honor, this is a fishing expedition. Counsel, her voice sharpens. Your client's own audit said, and I quote, statistically significant disparities in service delivery correlated with customer demographic presentation. That's not a fishing expedition. That's a roadmap. She leans forward. Here's my preliminary finding. Plaintiffs have established sufficient evidence of systemic discriminatory practice to proceed. This is not about one employee's bad behavior. This is about documented corporate policy, unwritten perhaps, but policy nonetheless. The courtroom is silent. Discovery will proceed. Full scope, emails, training materials, sales data, personnel files, settlement records, all of it. You have 14 days to begin production. She looks directly at Richard Anderson, sitting behind the defense table. Mr. Anderson, you're going to wish you'd listen to your compliance officer. She bangs the gavel. We're adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Matthew stands with the other 11 plaintiffs. Reporters swarm. Angela Wilson speaks first. This was never about money. This was about recognition. Recognition that what happened to us was wrong, that it happens to others, that silence allows it to continue. Matthew adds, Judge Miller recognized that today. Now we're asking Prestige Auto Group to do the same. Settlement talks begin 2 days later, June 12th, 89 days after Matthew walked into a showroom and was laughed at. The settlement is signed. Financial terms remain confidential. NDAs protect that. But public terms are mandatory. Prestige Auto Group agrees to mandatory unconscious bias training for all employees twice annually, quarterly independent audits of customer service data, external oversight board with community representation for 2 years, public apology without qualification, and policy handbook revisions explicitly prohibiting appearance-based customer profiling. It's not perfect. It's not everything. But it's something. Matthew attends Daniel's graduation on June 15th. Morehouse College. Cap and gown. Sunshine. His son crosses the stage. Matthew claps. No cameras, no reporters. Just a father watching his son achieve. Afterward, Daniel asks, was it worth it? Matthew thinks about that. Stone lost his career. Emma lost her job. Matthew faced threats, lawsuits, exhaustion. But he also thinks about Angela, Stephen, Brian, the 11 others, the ones who stayed silent for years because they thought it wouldn't matter. I don't know if I changed anything big, Matthew tells his son, but maybe I changed something small. Maybe the next person who walks into that showroom in ripped jeans gets treated like a human. Maybe that's enough. Daniel hugs him. That evening, Matthew tweets one last time. Rags don't define worth. Receipts do, but more importantly, people do, when they choose to see, to listen, to act. Thank you to everyone who refused to look away. If this story mattered to you, if you've been there, if you believe dignity isn't negotiable, leave a comment, share your story, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because this isn't the only time justice had to be fought for, and it won't be the last. But every time someone refuses to be silent, the fight gets a little easier. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.